Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reacting to the brand new trailer that Atlas just released for the Etrian Odyssey Origins collection. The game comes out in just over a week, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that may be brand new to the series and are kind of on the fence about picking up one or all of these games in the collection, or maybe you're a returning veteran to the series such as myself and you're wondering if this is worth the double dip, so to say. Just a brief history on myself before we jump into the trailer here. I played Etrian Odyssey day one when it released in the US. I absolutely fell in love with the series. I love the brutality of the difficulty. I love the music. I love the simplicity of the dungeon crawling. I really became a big fan of Etrian Odyssey, and I would say that I played a ton of Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I dabbled in 5 a bit, and I did play some of the spin-off series, but I consider myself to be a die-hard Etrian Odyssey 1 through 4 fan. So this is essentially what these games are. For those of you that don't know, they are re-releasing Etrian Odyssey 1, 2, and 3 in a different platform. Normally they were exclusive to the DS 1, 2, and 3. You can play them in no other way. So this is the first time that they're coming to a home console that you can play on, say, your television. So it's coming to the Switch and it's coming to the PC, a first for both. But here's the thing, and here's the controversy behind the whole thing that not a lot of people are super big fans of, is the fact that these games cost $40 each digitally. And then they have a collection, at least on Steam, it costs, it's probably the same thing on Switch where it costs like $80-something to get all three. But you got to remember, if you're a new time fan or a new time person playing the Etrian Odyssey series, are you really going to want to buy all three up front? Aren't you going to want to probably buy the first one and see how you like it? That's $40. And then if you end up liking the first one, then the other two are going to cost you an extra $80. So what do you say we jump in here? Let's not waste any more time. I'll give you my opinions on what the changes are, what they've done to this series. Is it worth getting into now if you've never played it before? Or, are the changes good enough to maybe entice new players or veterans alike? Let's check it out. For my first time watching this. Just released this trailer today. Classic Etrian Odyssey battle music.
Awaits you, adventurer. Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection is a remastering of 3 timeless RPGs, introducing new difficulty options like picnic mode.
Okay, so this is the first big change. If you played Etrian Odyssey before, you know that there was no difficulty options, at least in the original games. These games were absolutely brutal. They were known for their difficulty. That's kind of one of the things that really made it stand out from a lot of other RPGs at the time. Etrian Odyssey pulled no punches. They were absolutely brutal games, and when I play these myself, I will play them on the hardest difficulty because, in my opinion, that is the way Etrian Odyssey games are meant to be played. It is nice that they have options here to make them more welcoming, but they're going to advertise like the picnic difficulty is more for the story. So let me tell you right now, these are not games you play for the story. Unless they're incorporating what they did with Etrian Odyssey Untold, where they tried to make the story a bit more prominent. You play these games for the challenge, so just giving you guys a heads up. But it's nice that they have the option. I feel like they should have just kept it the default difficulty and let people feel like what Etrian Odyssey was like all these years. The original difficulty.
Which allows you to comfortably explore and develop your strategic prowess. Delve into breathtaking enhanced graphics and sound as you lead a party of heroes from rags to riches.
The backgrounds definitely look improved, and as well as the enemy character models definitely look a lot more HD and higher res, so that's nice.
Start your journey in town as the leader of a guild by recruiting brave adventurers. Before venturing out, make sure everyone is well rested and prepared. Stop by the bistro for the latest news and rumors, accepting a quest and reporting. It
also looks like they've, I mean, it's been a long time since I've looked at original gameplay for Etrian Odyssey, but it does look like they changed the font the same way that Square Enix kind of changed the font in the Final Fantasy games. But in the case of Etrian Odyssey here, it doesn't seem quite as egregious because this looks very similar to the way the font looked in the original games. Anyway, it's nice and clear. It's not too egregious.
Your results can net you a fine profit. Selling the loot from each expedition will help unlock new items and powerful gear.
Okay, this is what I'm most interested in. How do they deal with the map?
Your way in the labyrinth, so choose wisely who will venture into the depths. Recruit the perfect class to join you on your journey. There is no restriction on team composition.
And this is one of the highlights of Etrian Odyssey, if you've never played it before, is customizing your party. I urge all of you, I know it looks like my head is kind of like on this character right now. I urge all of you to go through Etrian Odyssey without a guide. Please, trust me, you'll enjoy it so much more if you don't look at guides on what people recommend. You don't want to use a recommended party build and then just breeze through the game. You want to feel a sense of accomplishment by coming up with your own party composition, feeling the hurt, feeling the burn of your mistakes, and maybe you didn't make the best team, but you try and get your way through the game with the party that you created. That's how I originally approached it. I wanted to make my party in a certain way, and it may not have been the best team, but it's it felt rewarding when you were able to make progress. And I strongly suggest that you don't look at guides for games like Etrian Odyssey 3 and 4, because there are certain classes in those games. You can say the same for every Etrian Odyssey, but there are certain, basically as a whole in general, there are certain classes in the series that will absolutely break the game and make it a lot easier for you. I don't suggest that you look into guides on what they recommend. Just go through it at your own pace, have some fun with your team composition.
So min-max the best combination. This allows you to create the ultimate dream team. Adventuring.
So many fun classes.
Core focus. Etrian Odyssey Origins collection is introducing a brand new.
Okay, so hold on. Let me back this up real quick, and this is the stuff that I wanted to really take a closer look at. Okay, so first of all, this is how the game would display on the DS, right? So you would always have sort of like this map down here. For those of you that are brand new to the series, you would actually draw on your touchscreen manually to make a map, and over time they did, in the original game, forgive me, I don't remember the history of Etrian Odyssey and which game, introduced auto mapping, but in the original games you would have to manually draw everything, and it felt really intricate. It made you feel like you were really part of the dungeon, because you were having to map this out manually by hand. So you really, when you were progressing through a dungeon and filling out your map, it really felt like you were making such progress, because you felt more in tune with the map layout itself and drawing all the little details and icons and everything. And if you made a mistake, it was on you. You had to make sure you mapped that thing out correctly. So it looks like how they're going to display it now is you're just going to be able to pop it up on the side of the screen here. And then I'm sure you'll be able to use the controller inputs and whatnot to do it for you. I'm sure most people are probably honestly just going to choose auto mapping, because I don't think most people are going to want to be doing too much manual map drawing on a controller and a TV or whatever you're playing on handheld Switch. Maybe on the Switch with touchscreen, maybe they let you do it. I don't know.
Has always been a core focus.
Oh my goodness, what
The ultimate dream team.
an option there. I don't know why you would ever want to mute the music on Etrian Odyssey. It's so good. The music in Etrian Odyssey really helps make that game, honestly, or the series in general. Okay, so let's just make sure we're not missing any. Ooh, that is, hold on, let's back that up. Frame by frame. Battle, I'm just going to see if I'm catching anything different here from what I can remember. Battle message speed, yeah, having that on fast, probably a good thing. Animation, normal, fast, very fast. Okay, this is good. And this is a big pet peeve of mine in modern RPGs, is that a lot of RPGs now let you turn off animations entirely. So what does that do to a game like Etrian Odyssey? It just turns it into Etrian Odyssey is a slideshow as it is. You're just looking at mostly still character portraits and mostly still enemy portraits, and they just interact with like cool little animations. And most games now are just letting you turn that stuff off entirely, and then it just looks like a bunch of damage numbers popping up. You can argue it's very old school, yes it is, but I like to see the animation, and I don't like being given the option to turn this stuff off, because then I feel pressured into having my time, be respected in that, okay, I have the option to turn it off. I really want to turn it off. Man, okay, let's turn it off, because it speeds up the game, and it's gonna make the game look and play worse, in my opinion. At least it's gonna take away a lot of the personality. So the fact that they don't give you the option here to completely turn off animations, just the speed of them, I gotta respect it. We got the A button skip, so to speed up text speed, I'm assuming. Auto battle confirmation. Oh, interesting. I actually can't remember if that was a thing in any of the older Etrian Odyssey games. So I guess if you're doing some grinding, instead of constantly having to mash the A button during combat, you can kind of just... apparently having an auto battle confirmation means you can get into a battle and they just automatically start fighting without you needing to even press a button. Interesting. I'm sure I might actually take advantage of that if I'm really looking to grind. I don't think that's a bad quality of life introduction. Auto map on, off, full. Auto map on, off, full. Full, interesting. Okay, so wow. The way that I'm taking that is that they will actually give you a full map when you first enter the dungeon without it even needing to map out. So I could be wrong here, but they might just fully flesh out the map for you as soon as you enter the dungeon, so you know where everything is, you know where to go. Maybe they don't fill in all the icons and stuff for you, but maybe just the groundwork of the map is there for you. Interesting. Movement speed, normal and fast. I think the normal speed of Etrian Odyssey was always pretty alright. Dominant hand setting. Thank you. I'm left-handed, so that's a good option for me. Mapping cursor position. Mapping touch controls. Touch only. Touch plus ZL and ZR. Okay, so there are definitely touch controls, so this is definitely going to allow you to be making maps on the touchscreen for the Switch.
The Origins collection is introducing...
And then, of course, on PC, it's probably going to be with your mouse. Okay, floors you pass through will not automatically be marked. And floors you pass through and surrounding walls will automatically be marked. Okay, all right, here's the clarification. Floors you pass through and surrounding walls will automatically be marked. Okay, so I'm taking it that this means maybe like secret walls that normally you would need to examine in some way will automatically show you when you can pass through them.
Brand new auto mapping option. This allows you to focus more on discovery and exploration, while automatically filling in floors and walls. Take in more
Backgrounds do look good.
with the new widescreen aspect ratio.
Great details. Yeah, I'll definitely be playing that in widescreen most of the time. So here's the one problem that I see with this sort of like auto mapping thing being something that you have to pull up on the side of the screen is that on the DS versions of this, it was always on the touchscreen, it was always visible, it was always easy to get around, whereas now you're going to always kind of want to have that pulled up on the side of the screen. So yeah, you can play it with the full widescreen mode, but believe me, when you're playing Etrian Odyssey, you 100% are going to want that map on your screen. So it's just a matter of, can you make it smaller? Can you fit it in a smaller portion of the screen? Or do you have to have that giant block of map always up on the side at all times? So I think it's kind of ugly. I'm gonna be honest here. Yeah, it looks pretty and everything without the map on screen and full widescreen, but I think people are forgetting how hard Etrian Odyssey is to play without the map, because you can't tell where the heck you're going without that map, because all the tile sets look very similar in this, so something to think about.
Depths of the labyrinth. Conquer challenging enemies with bold tactics and strategy.
Sound effects sound
Leveling up allows you
very
to
similar, very much the same.
use skill points to make every
Skill
class
trees, yes.
different. Customize your party members'
Customization was always the most fun part about these games, choosing what abilities your characters get. Now, this is something, maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't remember the original sprites having such harsh black lines around them, almost like a cel-shaded look. I don't know if that's just the new up-res HD versions that they're doing that for, but just some little difference I'm noticing here.
Summon a powerful creature to your aid, or use your mighty shield to hold down.
Okay, this confirms it. This is good. Trying to back up here so you guys can see this. They did this, yeah, they display a little itsy bitsy mini map down here on the bottom right hand of the screen. So I'm glad that this trailer is answering a lot of my concerns, so this is good. So yeah, you're always going to want to have a map up at some point. So it does seem like they took the care to realize like what's important to being able to play Etrian Odyssey and took the measures to make sure that there are different options. There seems to be a lot of options for people to toy around with when it comes to the UI of the game.
To hold down the front lines, knowing your enemy.
Nice little enemy stat screen, which would have normally been displayed on the bottom screen.
Is the key to battle. Gain the upper hand by referencing the monstrous codex.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even remember this being a part of... I could be wrong. You guys will have to remind me. It's been so long since I played the original Etrian Odysseys. I really don't remember there being an option to check enemy weaknesses and resistances and see their moves and what items they drop within the game as you're fighting them. Was that something that you could do and check on the bottom screen? If not, I actually really like this change. I like being able to see if there's an item that I didn't get a drop from an enemy, like a rare item, or what kind of skills they might use, or what their weaknesses and resistances are. And if this is something that's new, and once again, forgive me, I'm not 100% on this, I feel like this might have been inspired by something like the Persona games or SMT games as of late, because those games place a big emphasis on weakness and resistance, and they might have took a look at that and said, you know, people really seem to like these kind of charts and being able to tell what kind of moves they got to use. So I respect this. Either way, it's just a welcome addition to this kind of game.
Pay attention to their resistance, as your actions will be less effective, but deal incredible damage by striking their weakness. Fame and glory doesn't come cheap. When you go in prepared, you reap all the rewards. Prepare for your journey on June 1st, 2023. Pre-order is available.
All right, very nice. I mean, I have to say it does make me a little bit more confident that this might be a better port of these games or an revision HD version of this than I was anticipating. I really hope that this helps some of you try and figure out if you are returning to the series for the first time, if this is something you want to jump back into, or if you're new. I don't know what to recommend at this point, though. I will be playing this myself. I'll be streaming it on my Twitch channel, most likely on the release day, or very close to it at least, to check it out for myself, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are asking me what are my thoughts on it. So I will play the first game. I'll probably start with the first one and see how I feel about it. From the looks of it, though, it looks like it's going to be worth checking out. The question is it worth $80 for all three of them? Are you going to have the time to go through all these? $40 for one of these is very steep. I do feel like starting the price at, say, $29.99, and then, you know, giving people the option of, say, $70 maybe, or maybe even 60, but I would say $70 for all three would have been a bit more, because, you know, a lot of new games these days are $70. $80 is a lot of money for a collection. You know, yes, there's a lot of value in all these games, but it's going to be really hard to convince newcomers to the series to give these a shot at these prices, I will say. But anyway, that's my take on this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and yeah, looking forward to checking this one out. Hopefully it's as good as these trailers are making it look.